They say revenge is a dish best served cold, but for me, it was served in a sterile operating room at exactly 68 degrees Fahrenheit, with surgical steel between my fingers and my family's desperate faces behind a glass wall. My name is Reese, and this is the story of how my parents chose my sister's Instagram following over my survival. I remember the exact moment I realized I wasn't worth saving. I was 17, lying in my childhood bed, watching shadows creep across my ceiling as my parents argued downstairs. My lungs felt like they were filled with broken glass, and each breath was a reminder that I was running out of time. "Summer needs that camera equipment," my mother's voice carried through the heating vent. "Her following is growing. This could be her big break." "But Reese's treatment—" My father's voice was weaker, uncertain. "The doctors said it's experimental, no guarantees. We can't throw away $30,000 on maybes when Summer has a real shot at success." I pressed my face into my pillow to muffle my coughing. The metallic taste of blood filled my mouth, a taste I'd grown too familiar with over the past year. The next morning, Summer burst into my room without knocking, her perfect blonde hair bouncing as she waved her new camera in the air. "Look what Mum and Dad got me! This is going to change everything." I forced a smile, though it felt more like a grimace. "That's great, Sum. I know you're sick and everything, but once I make it big, we'll have plenty of money for whatever you need." She was already positioning herself in my mirror, testing angles. "Maybe you could even be in some of my videos. People love inspiration porn." "Get out." My voice was barely a whisper. "What?" "Get out." I grabbed my water glass from the nightstand and hurled it at the wall beside her. It shattered, sending water and glass across my floor. Summer screamed and ran. My mother appeared minutes later, face tight with controlled rage. "What is wrong with you? Your sister is trying to help." "Help?" I laughed, and it turned into a coughing fit. "The treatment fund. You spent it on her equipment, didn't you?" She straightened her designer blazer, avoiding my eyes. "We can't invest in something that probably won't work. Summer is building a future." "And what about my future?" "Don't be dramatic, Reese. Lots of people live with chronic conditions." "Live being the operative word," I spat back. She left without another word, closing my door softly, as if gentleness now could make up for the brutality of her choice. That night, I dragged myself to our shared computer, fingers trembling as I searched for alternatives. My vision blurred as I scrolled through medical trials and experimental treatments. Most were dead ends or scams, but one caught my eye. A research hospital 3 states away was running trials for my condition. The success rate was low, but it existed, and they were accepting new patients. I clicked through to the requirements. Participants had to be 18 or older. I was 17 and 10 months. Close enough. They needed medical history, which I could get from my current doctor. And they needed... My heart sank. A $10,000 deposit to cover initial treatment costs. I opened my savings account, $2,000 from years of babysitting and summer jobs. Not enough. Not nearly enough. My cursor hovered over the email contact. What was the point? I was going to die in this room, listening to Summer record her videos down the hall, while my parents planned her path to stardom over my funeral arrangements. A notification popped up on the screen, Summer's latest Instagram post. She was posing with her new camera, caption reading, "Dreams come true when you believe. Thanks, Mom and Dad, for always investing in my future. Gan blessed gay influencer life. Dreams come true." Something snapped inside me. I clicked the email link and started typing. "Dear Dr. Harrison, my name is Reese Moore. I'm 18 years old and I'm running out of time." The lie about my age flowed easily. What was one more month when my family had already decided my expiration date? I attached my medical records and hit send before I could change my mind. Then I opened a new tab and searched. How to get a fake ID. If they wouldn't save me, I'd save myself. And someday, when they needed me, because karma has a way of evening the score, I'd remember this moment. I'd remember the choice they made. I closed the laptop and crawled back to bed, tasting blood and destiny on my tongue. Summer's laughter echoed through our shared wall as she recorded another video. Let her laugh. Let them all think they've won. They had no idea what they'd just created. Scalpel! The word leaves my lips with practiced precision as I stand over the operating table, my team moving in perfect synchronization. 15 years have passed since I was the one lying helpless under bright lights. Now I'm the one holding the blade. BP dropping, Shanice calls out, her eyes fixed on the monitors. I see it. My hands remain steady as I navigate through layers of tissue. This is where most surgeons hesitate. I don't. I learned long ago that hesitation kills. The gallery above is full of residents watching. They call me the Ice Queen behind my back, the youngest chief of surgery in the hospital's history, known for taking impossible cases and turning them into medical miracles. They don't know that every cut I make is revenge against the disease that almost killed me. Dr. Flores is requesting a consult in OR2 when you're done, Shanice mentions as I close. I nod, not looking up from my work. Tell him I'll be there in 20. The memory hits without warning. Me at 18, sneaking out of my parents' house with a backpack and a fake ID that cost me most of my savings. The bus ride to the research hospital felt like crossing an ocean. I almost died twice during the trial. The doctors said it was a miracle I pulled through. You're thinking about it again, Brendan says later, as we review scans in OR2. He's one of the few who can read me like this. Just focused on the patient, I deflect, pointing to the tumour on his screen. Right. He moves closer, his voice dropping. You know, you've never actually told me why you chose surgery. Most people who survive what you did run as far from hospitals as they can. I meet his eyes, considering. Brendan has been my colleague for 3 years, and he's probably the closest thing I have to a friend. But some stories leave scars that never fade. Maybe I just like being in control, I say finally. Or maybe you like being the person who decides who lives and dies. The words hit too close to home. I step back, creating distance. Are we doing this consult or playing therapist? He raises his hands in surrender, but his eyes are knowing. All I'm saying is, you're allowed to be human sometimes, Reese, even in here. Being human is overrated. I turn back to the scans. Now show me what you've got. The day continues in its familiar rhythm until Shanice bursts into my office during afternoon rounds. Her face tells me something's wrong before she speaks. Emergency consult just came through, she says, breathing hard. Rare spinal degeneration, high-profile patient. They're flying him in now. I take the file she's holding, scanning the details. The condition is familiar. One of my specialties. The patient's name makes my blood freeze. Gideon Moore. Chief? Shanice is watching me carefully. You okay? You look like you've seen a ghost. In a way, I have. The ghost of a 17-year-old girl who once begged this man, my father, to choose her life over her sister's fame. I'm fine. My voice is ice. Prep or 4 for consultation. And Shanice? Keep my name off the visitor files for now. She looks confused, but nods. As she leaves, I sink into my chair, staring at my father's medical information. The condition is severe, requiring a specific surgical approach that only a handful of surgeons in the country are trained for. I'm one of them. My phone buzzes. A text from Brendan. Saw the consult coming in. That name. Isn't it? I don't respond. Instead, I pull up Instagram, something I haven't done in years. Summer's profile appears, still verified, still full of perfectly filtered photos. Her latest post shows her on a yacht, caption reading, "Flying home for family emergency. Send prayers. Such a blessed, secure family first." The laugh that escapes me is hollow. Family first? Now that's rich. I stand, straightening my white coat. Through my office window, I can see the hospital entrance where a private ambulance is pulling up. A crowd follows, my mother's expensive perfume probably announcing her arrival before she's even visible. And there's Summer, phone already out, no doubt documenting every moment of this journey. They're here because they've heard about the miracle surgeon everyone's praising, the one who takes impossible cases, the one who holds life and death in her hands. They have no idea it's me. Shanice appears in my doorway again. "They're asking for the department head. Ready?" I pick up my father's file, feeling the weight of 15 years of waiting settle onto my shoulders like a familiar blade. "Oh yes," I say softly. "I'm ready." Through the observation window, I watch them file into the consultation room. My father on the gurney, already looking smaller than I remember. My mother, her designer heels clicking against linoleum, barking orders at nurses. And Summer, phone perpetually raised, documenting every step like it's content for her next viral post. "The specialist will be here shortly," a nurse tells them, closing the door. Brendan appears at my shoulder. "You don't have to do this." Yes, I do. I check my reflection in the glass, adjusting my coat. Some debts need to be paid in person. He reads through my father's chart again. The degeneration is aggressive. Without surgery, he has maybe 6 months. With it, he pauses. "Well, you're the only one qualified to perform it within 5 states. Karma's funny that way. Inside the consultation room, Summer is already live streaming. "Waiting for the miracle surgeon everyone's been talking about. Dad's in good hands, fam. Keep those prayers coming." I watch my mother pace, her perfectly manicured hands clenching and unclenching. "This is taking too long. Don't they know who we are?" "Actually," I say, stepping into the room, "we know exactly who you are." The silence is absolute. Summer's phone slips from her fingers, clattering to the floor. My mother's face drains of colour. My father tries to sit up on the gurney, mouth opening and closing like a fish on land. "Reese?" His voice cracks on my name. "Hello, Father." I sit behind the consultation desk, opening his file with deliberate slowness. "I understand you're experiencing some spinal issues." This is impossible," my mother whispers. "What's impossible, Mother? That I survived? Or that I succeeded?" I look up, meeting her eyes. "Please, take a seat. We have a lot to discuss." Summer recovers first, rushing forward with open arms. "Oh my God, sis! This is amazing! We have to get a picture!" "Stop!" My voice cuts like a scalpel. "This is a medical consultation, not a photo op. Sit down or leave." She freezes, then retreats to her chair, face flushing. I notice her reaching for her phone and snap my fingers at a nurse. "No recording devices in here, hospital policy." But my followers are not my concern. I turn to my father's scans, displaying them on the wall screen. "Your condition is called progressive spinal stenosis. It's rare, aggressive, and in your case complicated by several factors." "Can you fix it?" my mother demands. That depends." I lean back, folding my hands. "On whether you can afford it." The colour returns to my mother's face in an angry flush. "How dare you? We're your family." "Family?" I laugh, and it sounds like breaking glass. Funny, that word meant something very different 15 years ago. "Reese, please," my father starts. "The surgery you need?" I continue as if he hadn't spoken. "It's experimental, no guarantees. Sound familiar, Mother?" She flinches. Summer looks between us, confusion crossing her perfect features. "What's she talking about?" "Nothing," My mother snaps. This isn't the time. Oh, I think it's exactly the time. I pull out a folder I've kept ready for years. Would you like to see something interesting? These are receipts from the month you decided not to pay for my treatment. Camera equipment, lighting rigs, professional editing software, all for Summer's career. Total cost? Almost exactly what my treatment would have been. That was different, my mother protests weakly. You're right, it was different, because I found another way. I survived despite you, not because of you. I stand towering over the desk, and now here we are. Isn't life fascinating? My father reaches for my hand. I step back. Don't, please, he whispers. I'm sorry, we were wrong, I was wrong. Sorry doesn't fix 15 years. I gather my files. I'll have my office contact you with the surgical consultation details. If you decide to proceed, you'll need to sign several waivers. The success rate is uncertain. But you'll do it? Summer asks. You'll help Dad? I pause at the door, looking back at them. This family that threw me away when I became inconvenient. My mother's rigid spine, my father's pleading eyes, Summer's calculated concern probably already being scripted into content in her head. I took an oath to help those in need, I say finally, even those who don't deserve it. I step out, letting the door close on their stunned faces. Brendan is waiting in the hallway. That was intense, he says quietly. It's about to get worse. I hand him the files. Book the OR for next week, and Brendan, make sure security knows Summer isn't allowed anywhere near it. You're really going to operate on your own father? I smile, and it feels like victory. They wanted the best surgeon available. They're going to get exactly what they asked for. The hospital cafeteria buzzes with whispers as I enter. News travels fast in these halls, and by now everyone knows the Ice Queen is operating on her own father. The father who left her to die. Your coffee? Shanice slides a cup across the table as I sit. You look like you need it. What I need is a time machine. I take a sip, scalding my tongue. Or a vacation, preferably both. Dr. Ryan called, she says carefully. She wants to talk to you. Perfect. Just what I need, my old mentor questioning my judgment. Before I can respond, Summer appears at our table, perfectly made up despite the early hour. There you are, she drops into the chair beside me uninvited. We need to discuss the surgery. I'm thinking we could do a whole series about it. Healing family wounds, or something inspiring like that. I set my coffee down slowly. What part of no recording devices wasn't clear? But Reese, this is huge. The story practically writes itself. Estranged sisters reunited through medical miracle. Get out. What? Get out of my cafeteria. Get out of my OR wing. In fact, get out of my hospital entirely, unless you're here for actual medical care. I stand looming over her. This isn't content for your channel. This is our father's life. Our father? She laughs bitterly. Now he's our father? You haven't spoken to any of us in 15 years. Because you left me to die. The cafeteria falls silent. Summer's face goes white. That's not... We didn't... No. I pull out my phone, opening a saved video from years ago. Summer's younger face fills the screen, talking to her camera. Sorry I've been MIA, followers, just dealing with some family drama. My sister's being super extra about some health stuff, but Mom and Dad know what's best. Anyway, check out my new camera setup. Summer stares at the screen, then at me. You kept that? I kept everything. I pocket my phone. Every post, every tweet, every Instagram story where you built your brand while I fought for my life alone. I was just a kid, she whispers. So was I. My pager beeps, saved by technology. Dr. Ryan's waiting in my office, Shanice murmurs. I leave Summer sitting there, mascara starting to run. In the elevator, Brendan catches up to me. Your father's latest scans came in, he says. falling into step beside me. The degeneration is accelerating. Show me. In my office, we review the images while Dr. Charlotte Ryan, my former mentor, watches with sharp eyes. She's aged since she supervised my residency, but her gaze is still laser-focused. The compression on the C4 vertebra is worse, I note, pointing to the screen. That's not why I'm here, Charlotte says. Are you sure you should do this surgery? I'm the only one qualified. That's not what I asked. She steps closer. Revenge is a dangerous motivation in an operating room. This isn't about revenge. No. She raises an eyebrow. Then why did you tell the insurance company you'd only accept payment in full, up front? The exact amount your treatment would have cost. I feel Brendan's eyes on me, but keep my voice steady. Standard procedure for high-risk surgery. Bullshit! Charlotte's voice is sharp. You're making them feel what you felt, watching them scramble for money like you did, making them choose between debt and death. They deserve it. Maybe, but is that why you became a doctor? Before I can answer, my office door bursts open. My mother storms in, waving papers. $300,000, she shrieks. You're charging us $300,000. Plus fees. I keep my voice clinical. The amount can be paid in installments, with interest. This is extortion. No, Mother, this is karma. I stand, matching her height in my heels. You have 24 hours to make the first payment, or I'll have to refer Father to another surgeon. The nearest one is in Toronto, I believe. Better start looking at flights. She slaps me. The sound echoes in the sudden silence. Charlotte steps forward, but I raise a hand to stop her. My cheek stings, but my voice remains ice cold. Security will escort you out now. Feel free to take Summer with you. I saw her selling her story to the hospital newsletter on my way up. My mother's hand trembles as she points at me. You're not my daughter. My daughter died 15 years ago. No, I correct her. Your daughter survived. That's what you can't forgive. After she's gone, Charlotte sighs heavily. You're playing a dangerous game, Reese. No. I touch my cheek, feeling the heat of the slap fade. I'm winning one. The boardroom feels like a courtroom as I lay out the documents one by one. Medical bills, bank statements, social media posts, 15 years of evidence arranged in chronological order. What is this? My father asks from his wheelchair. This, I say, tapping the first paper, is the cost of my treatment in 2008. $30,000. I slide forward a bank statement. And this is your account transfer to Summer's YouTube equipment fund that same week. My mother shifts uncomfortably. Summer stares at her perfectly manicured nails. Here's an interesting one. I hold up a printed Instagram post. Summer bragging about her new drone camera while I was coughing up blood in the emergency room. The caption reads, "Living my best life while dealing with family drama." Nice hashtag choice, by the way. Very sensitive. We get it, Summer snaps. You're angry, but this is ancient history. Ancient? I laugh. Let's talk about last week's history. I pull up her latest post on the screen behind me. My brilliant sister is going to save our daddy, a blessed family. Healing car sponsored. You're monetizing this? She has the grace to blush. My followers are invested in our story. Our story. I slam my hands on the table. There is no our story. There's what you did and there's what I survived. Reese, my father's voice breaks. Please, we were wrong. I was wrong. Every day since you disappeared, I've lived with that guilt. Guilt? I turned to him slowly. Did guilt keep you warm at night while I slept in hospital waiting rooms? Did guilt pay for my fake ID so I could join the medical trial? Did guilt hold my hand when I flatlined twice during treatment? Tears roll down his cheeks. I'm sorry. Sorry doesn't pay medical bills. I slide another document forward. But $300,000 does, due in full before surgery. My mother stands abruptly. This is ridiculous. We're your family. Family? I press a button on my laptop. Summer's voice fills the room from an old video. Had to sell my backup camera today. Mum says Reese's hospital bills are draining the account. So annoying. Like, we get it. You're sick. But what about my career? Summer lunges for my laptop. Turn it off. No. I play another clip. My mother's voice this time, from a phone recording I made years ago. We can't keep throwing money at a lost cause. Summer has real potential. I was 17, I say quietly. I was dying and you chose her Instagram followers over my life. That's not fair, Summer protests. I didn't know how sick you were. Didn't you? I pull up more posts. Here's you complaining about my attention-seeking coughing. Here's you using my empty bedroom as your filming studio 2 weeks after I disappeared. Here's you telling your followers I ran away because I was jealous of your success. The room falls silent except for my father's quiet sobs. A knock at the door makes us all jump. Brendan steps in, looking concerned. Reese, we need to discuss the surgical plan. In a minute. I gather my documents. I think we're done here anyway. You have until tomorrow to make the payment, or I'll have to decline the case. You wouldn't, my mother says. You took an oath. So did you. I meet her eyes. When you had children, you took an oath to protect them, both of them. How'd that work out? I turn to leave, but Summer grabs my arm. Wait, what do you want from us? An apology? Fine, I'm sorry, we're all sorry. Is that what you needed to hear? What I needed was a family who chose my life over your likes. I shake off her hand. What I needed was parents who saw me drowning and threw a lifeline instead of a camera. What I needed was a sister who, my voice catches, who acted like a sister. I can be that now, she whispers. No. I straighten my coat. Now you can be what I was, desperate, scared, and watching the clock tick down on someone you're supposed to love. The only difference is I actually have the power to save him. And will you? My father asks quietly. I look at him, really look at him, for the first time since they arrived. His hair has gone completely grey. His hands shake slightly on his wheelchair's armrests. He looks old, vulnerable, human. Yes, I say finally, because unlike you, I remember my oaths. The payment deadline stands. Don't make me choose between ethics and karma. I leave them sitting there, surrounded by the evidence of their betrayal. Brendan follows me out. That was intense, he says softly. No. I check my watch. That was just the warm-up. The notification lights up my phone at 3 a.m. Summer has gone live. The truth about my sister, emotional tell-all. I'm out of bed and dressed in minutes, racing to the hospital where I know she'll be. Sure enough, I find her in the waiting room, phone held high, tears perfectly staged for her audience. Then she abandoned us, Summer's saying to her camera, but now she's using Dad's condition to extort money from our family. I snatch the phone from her hands. Live stream's over. You can't do that. She lunges for the phone. I'm telling my truth. Your truth. I laugh harshly. Let's talk about truth. I turn her phone camera toward me. Hey, Summer's followers want to know what really happened 15 years ago. Don't you dare. Your favourite influencer here had a sister who was dying. But new camera equipment was more important than life-saving treatment. Isn't that right, Summer? She slaps the phone out of my hand. It clatters across the floor as she screams, You're just jealous. You always were. Even now you're trying to steal my spotlight. Spotlight! I step closer, voice dropping to a whisper. I was dying in the dark while you chased likes and views. I was fighting for breath while you were fighting for followers. At least I made something of myself. You made yourself into a parasite. I gesture at her phone, still feeding off other people's pain for content. Girls! Our father's voice cuts through the argument. He wheels himself toward us, looking exhausted. "Please stop this." "Daddy!" Summer runs to him, instantly switching to her camera-ready persona. "I was just trying to share our beautiful reunion story." "There is no story!" I explode. "This isn't content for your channel. This isn't your next viral moment. This is real life." "Reese," my father reaches for my hand. "Can we talk? Privately?" I shouldn't. I should walk away. But something in his voice, something broken and genuine, makes me nod. I wheel him to my office, leaving Summer in the waiting room. Once inside, he slumps in his chair. "Say it," I demand. "Say what you've been avoiding since you got here." "I chose wrong." His voice cracks. "I chose her. I saw you dying and I turned away." The admission hits harder than I expected. Why? Because Summer was easy. She was bright and happy and uncomplicated, and you were so sick, so difficult. Every day was a new crisis, a new expense, a new heartbreak. So you gave up on me. "I let your mother make the decisions. I told myself she knew best." He wipes his eyes. "I was a coward." Before I can respond, Brendan knocks and enters. "Sorry to interrupt, but we have a situation. Summer's gone live again. She's telling her followers to donate to a GoFundMe for your father's surgery." "What?" I pull up the feed on my computer. There she is, crying perfectly photogenic tears. "My sister is holding our daddy's life hostage, but with your help we can save him." "I'll stop her." My father starts to wheel himself toward the door. "Don't bother." I'm already dialing security. "She's about to be escorted out, permanently." "Reese, please." "No." I hold up my hand. "You don't get to defend her anymore. Not to me." As security removes a screaming Summer from the premises, Brendan touches my arm. "Surgery scheduled for tomorrow. Are you sure you're okay to do this?" "I have to be." I look at my father. Someone has to be the adult in this family. Later that night, as I'm reviewing the surgical plan, Brendan brings me coffee. "You know, most people would have walked away. Let another surgeon take the case." "I'm not most people." "No," he says softly. "You're not." He hesitates, then adds, "I admire that about you, your strength. But sometimes strength means knowing when to let go." I look up at him, seeing the concern in his eyes. For a moment I want to lean into that concern, to let someone else carry this weight. Instead, I stand. I let go 15 years ago. Tomorrow isn't about holding on. It's about finishing what they started. And what's that? Teaching them that actions have consequences. I gather my files, even if those consequences take 15 years to arrive. As I leave my office, I pass the hospital's wall of success stories. Among them is my own photo from years ago, young, pale, but alive. Below it, the caption reads, "Sometimes survival is the best revenge." Tomorrow, I'll prove just how true that is. The operating room has always been my sanctuary. Here, in the cold sterility of steel and fluorescent lights, I am God. Today, my father lies before me, anesthetized and vulnerable, just as I once was. "BP stable," Shanice announces. "We're ready to begin." I make the first incision with steady hands. "Retractor." Through the observation window, I can see my mother watching. She paid the full amount yesterday, emptying investment accounts and taking loans. Summer's nowhere to be seen. Security made sure of that. "Approaching the spine," I narrate for the residents observing. The degeneration has progressed significantly. This is where it gets complicated. Brendan, assisting today, catches my eye. "Everything okay?" "Perfect." I navigate through tissue, each movement precise, just like we planned. Except we didn't plan for the bleeding. It starts suddenly, a surge of red that obscures my view. "Suction," I command. "More light. I need to see what I'm doing." "BP dropping," Shanice calls out. 90/60. I can hear the monitors beeping faster. Through the window, My mother presses her hands against the glass. "Give me a wider retractor," I order, "and more suction. I can't see the compression point." "BP still falling," Shanice warns. 85 over 55. Brendan leans closer. "Reese, maybe we should—" "I can handle it." My voice is ice. "I've seen worse." The bleeding continues, but I work through it, my movements mechanical and precise. This is what I trained for. This is what I survived for. 80 over 50, Shanice announces. "We need to make a decision." A memory flashes. Me at 17, monitors beeping just like this, nurses calling out numbers as my life slipped away. No one made decisions for me then. "Continue suction," I say calmly. "I can see the compression point now." The next 30 minutes are intense focused work. Every cut, every stitch, every movement could mean the difference between walking and paralysis, between life and death. Finally, the bleeding stops. The monitors steady. "BP stabilizing," Shanice confirms. 95 over 65 and rising. I straighten up, rolling my shoulders. "Close him up. The hard part's done." In the scrub room afterward, Brendan corners me. "You knew this could happen. You knew the risks were higher than you told them." I told them exactly what they needed to know. "You told them there was an 80% chance of full recovery. The real number's closer to 50. I peel off my gloves. Like Mother always said, you can't invest in maybes. "This isn't you," he says softly. "The Reese I know wouldn't gamble with a patient's life for revenge. The Reese you know survived because she learned to gamble." I meet his eyes. "He'll live. That's more than they gave me." In the waiting room, my mother jumps up as I approach. "How is he? Did it work?" "The surgery was complicated," I say professionally. "We encountered some bleeding issues. He's stable now, but—" "But what?" "There may be some paralysis. We won't know the extent until he wakes up." She collapses into a chair. "Paralysis? But you said—" "You promised." "I said there were risks." I check my watch. "He'll be in recovery for several hours. I suggest you get some rest." "You did this on purpose," she whispers. "You wanted this." Before I can respond, Summer bursts in, somehow having evaded security. She's live streaming again. "Here we are, moments after Daddy's surgery," she narrates to her phone. "Our brilliant surgeon sister, get out." My voice could freeze hell. "Not until you tell everyone what you did." She shoves her phone in my face. "Tell them how you deliberately—" I grab her phone and speak directly into the camera. "Your influencer idol just violated HIPAA laws by broadcasting patient information. I wonder what your sponsors will think about that." Summer pales. "You wouldn't? Try me." I delete her stream and hand the phone back. "Now get out before I call security and press charges." She leaves, finally silent. My mother follows, shooting me one last devastating look. Alone in the waiting room, I sink into a chair. Brendan appears with coffee. "You did good work in there," he says quietly. "Despite everything, you saved his life." "Did I?" I take the coffee. "Or did I just prove I'm exactly what they made me?" "You're not what they made you." He sits beside me. "You're what you made yourself. The question is, what are you making yourself into now?" I stare into my coffee, seeing my reflection in the dark liquid. The monitors beep steadily from my father's recovery room. Proof of life, proof of power, proof of something I'm not sure I want to name. "I'm making myself," I say finally, "into someone who never has to beg for survival again." The rehabilitation centre is quiet, except for the steady rhythm of my father's walker against linoleum. Step, drag, step. Like a metronome counting out the price of karma. "That's good," I tell him professionally. "Your left side is getting stronger." He nods, concentrating on each movement. The paralysis wasn't permanent, but recovery is slow. Behind us, a nurse wheels away my mother's empty chair. She stopped coming weeks ago after I refused to sugarcoat his prognosis. "Summer posted about you again," he says between steps. "I know, my sister the surgeon, angel or devil, very dramatic." I adjust his grip on the walker. Her sponsorships are dropping, by the way. Turns out medical privacy violations are bad for business. He stops walking, turning to face me. She's leaving social media. This surprises me. What? Says she's done, deleted everything yesterday. He manages a small smile. Sometimes karma works in unexpected ways. Before I can respond, Brendan appears in the doorway. "Sorry to interrupt, but there's someone here to see you, Reese." In the waiting area, a teenage girl sits nervously with her parents. I recognize the pallor of her skin, the slight tremor in her hands. I've seen that look in mirrors. "Dr. Moore?" The mother stands. "We came because they say you're the one who survived the experimental treatment, the one who made it work." The girl looks up at me with desperate hope. "I have the same condition you had." Something shifts inside me, a crack in the ice I've carried for 15 years. "Tell me everything," I say, sitting beside her. Later, after arranging for the girl's treatment, I find my father still practicing his steps. "You did it differently," he says quietly. "You chose to help her." I chose to be what I needed back then. I watch him struggle forward. Someone who sees pain and doesn't look away, like I did. "Yes," he grips the walker tighter. "I've been thinking about what you said, about investment and maybes." His voice shakes. "We invested in the wrong daughter." "No." The word surprises us both. "You invested in the easy choice, but life isn't about easy choices. It's about right ones." Can you ever forgive us? I consider this as I help him turn around for another lap. Forgiveness isn't the point anymore. I survived. I succeeded. I proved every doubt, every dismissal, every cruel choice wrong. And now I choose who I want to be. I steady him as he falters. Someone who helps people survive, even people who don't deserve it. Like me? Like you. Brendan finds me later in my office, staring at the photo of that teenage patient. "You're going to help her, aren't you? Already started the paperwork?" I look up at him. "I'm establishing a foundation for cases like hers, like mine." "Using the money your parents paid? Poetic, isn't it?" I stand, gathering my coat. "Want to get coffee and help me plan it?" He smiles, that warm, knowing smile that's been chipping away at my defences. "I thought you'd never ask." As we leave, we pass Summer in the hallway. She's wearing plain clothes, no makeup, no phone in sight. She looks younger somehow, more real. "Reese," she calls out softly, "I deleted everything, all the posts, all the lies. I'm done performing." "Good for you." "I mean it." She steps forward. "I've been telling stories for so long, I forgot how to live them. Watching you these past weeks, you actually help people, make real differences. I want to learn how." I study her face, seeing for the first time in years traces of the sister I once had. The volunteer coordinator is always looking for help in pediatrics. "Really?" Hope flickers across her features. "You'd let me?" "Prove you mean it." I turn to go, then pause. "And Summer? No cameras?" "No cameras," she agrees quietly. Outside, the evening air is crisp with possibility. Brendan takes my hand as we walk to the coffee shop. "You know," he says, "for someone who claims to be made of ice, you're surprisingly good at thawing people out." I think about my father's determined steps, Summer's bare face, that teenage girl's hope, about revenge and healing, and how sometimes they're the same thing. "Maybe," I say, squeezing his hand, "it's time to let myself thaw too." In the hospital window's reflection, I see myself smile. Not the cold professional smile I've perfected, but something warmer, something real. I survived to become the person I needed back then, but maybe now, finally, I can become the person I choose to be.